What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, guys, what we're going to be doing is giving you everything you need to know to rank up super fast in Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3. I'll be giving you guys all the information and strategies you're going to need to know to reach Unreal rank or whatever your goal rank is this season. And if you watch this whole video, take in all the information and use it, you should see yourself ranking up way faster. Before we get into it though, be sure to drop a like if the video helps you out. Subscribe if you're new and you want to see more content just like this in the future. And as always, guys, if you want to use code Teckoh in the item shop, it's super appreciated. Thank you to everyone who uses it. With all that said, guys, and without further ado, let's get into this video. So starting off this video, and the first topic I want to go over is the best game mode. A lot of people argue about what's the best game mode to play in order to rank up, and that's for good reason. And when it comes to that, I'm going to tell you something that most creators will not tell you. Most of them are going to give you a particular thing. Some people say solos, duos, trios, squads. Everyone's going to have their own opinion, but the fact of the matter is there's no exact right answer. It really just depends on what you're good at and if you have good teammates. For example, if you have a squad of great players who can all hold their own in fights, and obviously same goes for duos and trios, they're all team modes. Those modes are going to be more enjoyable, more sustainable, and more fun for you. On the other hand, one thing to consider is that one team wipe is equivalent regardless of the mode. What I mean by that is, as a solo, if you kill one other solo, that is weighed the same as if you're a duo, you kill a duo, trio killing a trio, or squad killing a squad. So for example, if you get 3 kills in solos, in theory, that's equal to 12 kills in squads. And obviously that's the team as a whole, not just you. So if you tend to be a really good solo fighter and you like to play aggressive, solos are probably going to be your best move to rank up. Me personally, I get really bored in solos. I don't really find it that fun. I like playing with teammates and talking and just hanging out. So I personally go for team modes. You can see my footage in the background. Sometimes I play duos, trios, or squads. I really don't have one particular mode. Ultimately, the choice is yours though, and I'm going to disagree with anybody who tells you that one specific mode is the absolute best. If I had to choose one for purely ranking up, if you're a good solo player, it would be solos. But if you're more consistent with your duo, trio, or squad, then your rank ups are going to follow suit if you play the right mode. So overall, play the mode you enjoy, and if you've got good teammates, the mode you have a good team for. The next topic I want to get into is understanding hero ranks. One thing you want to get familiar with to reach Unreal this season is going to be those hero ranks. Now, I went over this briefly in my last video, but I want to go over it a little bit more here. Hero ranks are entirely separate from your actual ranked mode rank, and they don't change anything about your actual rank. Basically, what the hero ranks are is a rating. It's either C, B, A, S, or S+, and that rating indicates pretty much how good you're doing in that match. So as you get eliminations, placement, and other stuff like that, pretty much the better you do, the better it's going to be. So even though it doesn't actually have any bearing on your real rank, you can still use your hero rank to get better loot and upgrade your boons. So what this does do is basically gives you a good shot to get better loot throughout the game from the hero rank chests, and it upgrades your special abilities. Once again, you basically just gain these hero ranks by surviving longer and by getting kills. So the only real difference this will make on your gameplay is it might change your early game strategy. If you're good at fighting and you want to set yourself up ideally, you might want to try and get a couple of early game elims. That way you get a better shot at getting that OP loot. You can look around your POI and see what you have for those chests. Some of them are going to be C tier, B tier, A tier, or even S tier, and the loot's going to go accordingly to that. If I'm remembering correctly, C tier is going to give you green loot, B tier is going to give you blue, A tier is going to give you purple, and then if you make it all the way to S tier and you somehow still have time to get one of those chests, then that should be gold loot. Especially when you're in earlier ranks and the lobbies are easier, this is something you can definitely leverage and set yourself up for an easy W key game with some really good loot, and that'll let you rank up faster until the games start getting tougher in the higher ranks. Getting into our next section though, and another thing I want to address is elimination points, just so you have some extra info on this. Eliminations are valued based on 2 things. So not every kill is going to be weighed the same. It's going to be the time of the game and the rank of the player you eliminated. So for example, at the time I'm voicing this video, it's about 3 days into the season and I'm right around elite rank. I should be hitting Unreal soon, but I don't have a lot of time in my schedule to play, so I do what I can. If I were to get into a game at elite rank and kill somebody who's gold, I'm going to gain very minimal rank from that particular kill. It's not really going to do that much for me. Once again, it helps. It's still going to go towards my rank up, but it's going to be weighed less. On the other hand, if I kill somebody unemployed who already hit Unreal, which is just absolutely devious, then that kill is going to be way better for my rank progress. The other aspect of this is the time of the game. In order to promote better endgames, Epic basically decided to make kills more valuable as the game goes on. That way they can discourage the hardcore early game W keying, discourage people from getting like 20 bombs and destroying the whole lobby, and it kind of saves more fighting for endgame. So if I kill someone off spawn versus in the top 10, obviously that top 10 kill is going to be way more valuable. So you can adjust your strategy to accommodate the time of the game aspect. Of course, for the rank kill aspect, there's not really much you can do since you can't really specifically target higher ranked players, but it's worth knowing regardless. So with all that said, I think that's most of the general information you guys are going to need to know. So next part of the video is going to be more strategy oriented and how you should actually play. So getting into this section of the video, and one of the biggest parts of your game that determines if you rank up or not is going to be your early game. So let's get into some early game strategy. Stacking early game deaths, even with a couple of kills, is going to kill your ability to hit the rank you want to hit. Because even as we talked about before, the early game kills are weighed less. So even if I get a couple of kills off spawn and then I die, it's really not going to do much for me. If anything, I might rank down. Of course, you got a ton of options here, and it's mostly going to depend on your ability to win off spawn fights. If you land somewhere super stacked like Supernova Academy or Utopia City, you're going to have a lot more fighting in your path and a lot of third parties to fend off. And not only the people in your POI, but people are also going to rotate into your POI while you're fighting and third party you. But if you absolutely destroy these areas and you're a great fighter, then you're going to have insane loot and you're probably going to get close to a maxed out hero rank by mid game. On the other hand, you can land more passively, kind of toward the edges of the map or even at an unnamed spot, but these spots are probably going to limit your loot. So you kind of got to decide which side of the spectrum you want to be on. Do you want to be a little bit more passive and safely loot up and survive early game, but maybe not have the best stuff? Or do you want to be aggressive, risk potentially dying off spawn, but have higher reward in the end? Wherever you decide to drop, I have a couple of small tips for early game that should give you an advantage. First off, specifically for my builds players out there, you need to focus on farming up ASAP. Materials are probably the biggest thing in early game fights, at least in build mode obviously, that determines if you win or lose a fight. Even just having a couple of extra builds for cover or to block a shot or to box your opponent, that can easily be the difference. Especially in this season, for some reason, people do not seem to be farming early, and I get so many free kills just based on that. Another tip I have is to try and select 2 or 3 different drop spots and learn them inside and out. A lot of people just kind of land randomly, but they don't know any POI that well. So if you can get really good with a couple different POIs, it's going to allow you to loot way faster. And if RNG isn't wildly against you in that particular match, you should come out with better loot than the people you're fighting at least 75% of the time. And lastly, for early game, one thing I've always done that helps a lot is if you're contested by multiple players or teams, like you got a lot of people in your POI, focus on being the third party. Early game fights are usually a shambles fest, so if you can catch people mid-fight or catch someone who just cleaned up an early fight, they're probably going to be low on HP and materials already, making them an easy kill. Overall though, by leveraging your specific drop to match your strategy and pace, and focus on getting your early game survival as high as possible, this is going to set you up nicely for some good wins. And even on the games you don't make it to late game, it should help at least shield you from going down in rank, so you can gain a couple of % from that placement instead of dying off spawn. Getting into our last section here, and this is going to be mid and end game. They're both pretty intuitive, so I just decided to combine them here, but I've got a couple minor tips that'll help you along the way. In mid game specifically, the biggest thing you want to focus on is avoiding third parties. This is the downfall of almost everybody this season. With all the mobility we got in the game, people are able to find fights so easily and jump in on you mid-fight. One way to counter this is to fight on the dead side of zone, which basically means fighting around the areas far from the center, specifically on the side that people are not rotating into. For example, if the zone pulls to the right side of the map, you want to fight on the right side of that zone, because nobody's going to be rotating into the area you're in, unless they're already rotating from the dead side of zone. Another tip I have is to focus on ending fights fast, which means you're going to want to grind out realistic 1v1s, piece control drills, and other stuff like that to improve at basically just getting your opponent caught up quickly. And one map I really like for this is Speed Realistics by Ken Beans, which is basically a realistic 1v1 map that pushes you close together, so you're forced to play aggressive and focus really hard on ending the fight fast. It's a really good way to practice those fast-paced fights you're going to see in ranked, and if you can get really good at these, your fights are going to be so much quicker and cause way less of a ruckus. I'll go ahead and put the code up on screen to that map. In terms of endgame, all you've really got to do is avoid ending up in shambles. Endgame is really, in my opinion, the simplest part of the game. Most people die because they run out of mats, they get beamed and have no extra heals, or they get caught up in the back of zone. If you VOD review your endgames that you died in, chances are one of those 3 happened every time. Stay ahead of your rotations, try to maintain height if you're able to, and try to get kills on the players that are already in shambles without giving up your position. Most importantly though, rotate early. Don't get caught up in the back of zone, especially with how many mountains and high height areas are on the Chapter 6 map. Most endgames you're going to get into are going to have some form of major natural height, and you'll see that the people on that height are usually the ones that are going to win. And if you do all that stuff, your mid and end game should run super smoothly. So with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to rank up super fast in Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3. Overall, we went over a bunch of stuff like hero ranks, the best game mode, how your kills are balanced and actually accounted for in the ranking up system, and a bunch of strategies you can use in every part of the game to increase your chances of ranking up. Overall, guys, if this video helped you out, then be sure to drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content just like this. And of course, guys, if you want to use code Teckoh, it's super appreciated. And let me know down in the comments, guys, what kind of videos you want to see next on the channel. I'm open to all ideas, so if you guys got something for me, just let me know. But with all that said, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.